Hey, I just want to jump in today. By the way, good afternoon, good morning, or good evening to you. What about that internal voice, that little chatter that just goes? Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Well, let's just talk about, first of all, one of my good buddies. I was running with him last night. I was talking about a 10-mile race that he just did. And about 6 miles in, that little voice just started going in his head and said, you can't do this, you're tired, you haven't done the training, come on, just give up. And of course, the little voice won the battle. And then what happens? He finishes, well, not finishes, but he starts to walk. And then the little internal voice goes, see, you're no good, you're useless, you gave up, you could have pushed on. And that's when this internal voice just starts to get really debilitating. But this voice also has its purpose. Sometimes that little voice can push you on, and it can even remind you of things. Think about the last time you went to the supermarket and maybe you forgot your shopping list, and it reminded you, it was bread, milk, orange juice, carrots, the things that you would put on your list. Well, without that little internal voice, you wouldn't have any reference points as to what you could remember. But when that little internal voice starts to really get at you, what can you do? Well, you could actually coach yourself, and you kind of do that in the third person. So if it was me, let's just say I was doing an triathlon or a big event, you kind of say to yourself, come on, Chris, you can do it. Next lamppost, just get to the next lamppost, and that'll be something that you can aim for. Or you might get up in the morning and the little voice says, nah, go on, lie in, give yourself a break. And you say, no, come on, Chris, this means something to you. You said you're going to get up this morning, feet on the floor, Chris, let's go. So if you can begin to master that internal voice and coach yourself through your own anxieties or tribulations or challenges, then that internal voice can become your best friend. And I think it's something that makes us human. And sometimes people say, live in the now, just live in the present, and don't worry about the past, don't worry about the future. Well, that's kind of a false thing, because you are the lessons of your past, and those failures or those wins will help you charge the next steps that you're going to take. And also you can future think. You can kind of think to yourself, what does the future mean for me? You can have that little conversation with yourself in your head. So that's the message for you today. How is that internal voice for you? Is it something that is your friend or your foe? And if it is your foe, how do you challenge that perspective to try to make that foe more of an enabler for you? Why don't you try it next? Just have a little chat to yourself, whatever your name is. Hey, Rebecca, Michelle, Nick, Fred, whoever your name is. Come on, Fred, let's try this. Why don't we just do this together? And imagine you were coaching your best friend. What would you say to your best friend to try to get them to silence that inner voice? Why don't you try to play that message to yourself? That's me checking out today. I'm going to go and do boot camp again. It's Tuesday night, amazing weather. Can't wait to do it and mix with some other like-minded people, making sure that we have one life to live life, love life.